Hey, y'all. Welcome to Cornbread and Roses. I'm your friendly neighborhood organizer, Austin, and I'm here tonight with Red Mike.
Hello,
Red Mike, how
comrades.
you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Yes. All
As a man,
right.
I should change my how my name appears. If I
Now we
can't.
got Jason slash Red Mike. Uh, yeah, Bricks. What else we got? We're gonna just keep adding to the nicknames.
Oh, we had a good one, and I forgot what it was. J Money.
Oh yeah, J Money.
J
Can't
Money.
yeah, that's classic. That's a that's a solid one.
J
Uh
Polish Money.
yes, sir. Jesus didn't like money. Why should you? Oh yeah. All right. So whoa, what is happening this week? We're gonna talk we're gonna do little entertaining memes and media stuff this week in socialist history. Um conspiracy of the week and or conspiracy theory, I guess, and some events that's going on in the state and in the area up here in North Alabama. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention we're the most unprofessional podcast in the land and maybe the known universe. Uh, and we'll hit some news. What's going on in the news around Alabama, and I will be also over here on the side entertaining my dog with pats on the head as it jacks up my shoulder.
Yeah. My cat is in the other room singing the song of her people. I don't know if you can hear her.
No, we can't. But
I don't know what she
what
wants.
what what does that make her? Kizette? Is that her people? I can't remember that.
I don't know.
The Skyrim cat people.
Oh, the Khajiit.
Khajiit, thank you. Uh, she will
Yeah, I
grow
don't know.
into a true warrior to fight for freedom.
She's a little wild child, but and she's fixed, so it's not that. She's just in there meowing her little head off, and I don't know why.
Uh, I like it when they meow, you know. Well, except in the mornings when I'm trying to feed them, because then I'm like, okay, 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 okay. But like, I
Oh
get
yeah.
a chorus of like four meowing cats. I'm like, all right, I hear y'all. Chill out, chill out, chill out.
Yeah, I just have the
But,
one, but she lets me know when she's hungry.
but, well, yeah, they do that, don't they? And they'll trick you, man. They'll try to trick you and act like they ain't ate all day or whatever. We got one of them that'll sit there every time the fridge is open, runs over. Every time something hits the floor, runs over. Every little thing. It is a hunting ass cat acting like it's starving, and it ain't. Uh, but what's been going on with you before we get into all this?
Oh, not much. I am changing jobs. I quit my current job and I'm going back to my old job. It'll still be software engineering, but it will hopefully be a less stressful job. Taking a little bit of a pay cut, but I think it'll be worth it for the less stress. I've been riding the struggle bus at my current job. Like I've been having trouble getting projects done, and I know I must be frustrating my coworkers. They're super nice and they say they're not frustrated, but I'm frustrated with my performance. So I'm going back to where I was useful.
Mm, that sounds wise, and uh, it sounds like you've empowered yourself, like mental health wise by doing that too.
I
So
hope so.
I'm
We'll find
happy
out.
for you.
It's been a rough couple of weeks
Yeah.
though, having to finish up projects before I hand them over, which is it's not going to happen. I'm going to give them unfinished stuff. I'm going to feel so bad about it, but there's going to be nothing I can do.
Dude, just like cramming for a test the night before, hit up some AI and ask it to
I
do
might do that.
everything for you.
I might do that. I took off yesterday from doing anything political because I was going to work all day, and I was like, I didn't go to the coffee social. I didn't go to the Green Party event. I was like, okay, I'm going to work all day, and then of course I laid in bed all day watching YouTube, and I didn't work.
That sounds yeah. YouTube gets me, boy. Like there's so many good channels out there.
Oh yeah.
And so much like just knowledge and just like it's just amazing. Like it's so incredible. Like you can look up all kinds of things. Well, why am I describing how YouTube works to people watching us on YouTube? That
yeah.
maybe I'll skip that.
I've been trying to watch other socialist
But,
podcasts to find out like what can we do differently. I think one thing that right wing talk radio does really well is that it gives the philosophical case for conservatism pretty well. And I would like to start moving in a direction where we're talking about what socialism is. Maybe on Wednesday, maybe that's a job for Slop. But like we're not really going to be able to implement much in Alabama outside of like workers co-ops and things like that. But we can at least articulate what we're pushing for and say, here's what socialism might look like in Alabama. Not that you can have socialism in one state, but you can move in that direction asymptotically.
yes. Oh, that's a big math word right there.
Math word. That's
as we approach. Yeah.
I was a math major, so I'm full of big math words.
Bring them on. But so yeah, been hanging on by the skin of my teeth. The football season's got the kids busy as hell, which means I'm doubly busy, and I've missed. Haven't been able to go to several events. There was some this week for folks in Palestine, and that big win we got about the AI camera stuff, which that's why we need numbers so we can cover down on people when they're not able to do things, and that is our strength. The working class strength is our numbers. When we get together in numbers, that's when we can wield our power. And that's what's happening all across the nation, even if you might not be seeing it in your algorithm or on your news, on TV or what have you. I assure you, there are folks out there fighting every day. And yeah, do not comply in advance.
If we win anywhere, we win everywhere. Like even when we're unsuccessful, we can move the needle. Like Bernie's 2 presidential campaigns were unsuccessful. But look at how many people they brought into democratic socialism. And he really broke the taboo on the word so that people could call themselves that. And that in itself was huge. So Zoran Mamdani, the Squad, what is the fellow's name in Minneapolis? Omar Fateh?
Yep.
So people like that, when we support their campaigns and they win, like it's national news, it bolsters the numbers for DSA and for other socialist organizations. It gets people in the struggle locally. It encourages more people to run for office. So,
yeah.
So even if you're, go ahead.
I was going to say, and there's like Sanders is getting, he's.
Uh-oh. Not again.
Oh goodness.
Are we there? Begins. You're there now.
They own it. The ops are out there doing their work. But Sanders has got like 5,000 people, but we have people here in the state of Alabama that are working class and that are running for office. And if you look down in the description box, you can see Robert Hunter's info for his campaign to spread the word, donate, all that good stuff. And you can share all that with your friends, family, across social media, all that good stuff. And if you're interested in running or helping folks run, hit us up. hit us up on various social media platforms, whatever. We will get back with you for sure. But maybe we should start talking about the memes now. I tell you what, the hardest thing I do to prepare for this show is trying to find some funny shit to start the week or start the show with. So it maybe I'm overthinking it, but we shall endure. And so yeah, let's see what this fine fella here says. This guy I think is Andrew Russo. I don't know if that's how you say that, but he's hilarious, and y'all should check out his channel and stuff. Let's see if this works. We're coming in hot and heavy, starting with a video.
On bullet casings from recent political violence force scientists to reconsider mathematical formulas. When someone writes something on a bullet in the name of violence, it's to be taken as true and earnest. It's kind of changed everything that we know. Some messages have even helped to settle long-standing personal disputes. Was almost certain that Josh, my roommate, ate all my leftover spring rolls, but after seeing the bullet engravings, it just kind of reset the whole narrative, and I've since decided to just let it go. Others believe you can't ascribe full ideological intent to a single message on the bullet, and that things are more complicated than that. Or they should at least be nicer. When I start my political violence era, my casings will just say, hey, come over for cornbread. You look scrumptious and well-proportioned. Even the FBI has revised their leadership after one bullet casing was discovered by Agent Scott Wilkins. Wow, Agent Wilkins is such a great agent and a fun hang, too. He should definitely be promoted to take lead at the El Paso office. Oh, yeah. Bush did Harambe. This just in. Markings on.
All right.
I am an anti-fascist, okay? This administration,
That's a good little one right there. You check out his Hassan Abi, and check out his little. Well, maybe I can.
Is that Hassan Piker? Is that who that is?
That is. I'm not going to try to play this one because we're not going to press our luck on videos. But what were you going to say?
I read an interview with him recently in Current Affairs magazine about the Democratic Party and things like that. So if you want to check out Current Affairs, I know there's a bit of a dust up there because the guy that owns Current Affairs, his staff tried to form a workers' co-op, and so he fired them all. And these are leftist magazines running, acting like a capitalist boss when push came to shove. But I enjoy it's hard because I enjoy his writing so much and I enjoyed the magazine so much. It's hard to not read it, but I feel guilty about it at least. So just, exercise your own judgment as about what you want to read Current Affairs. And Nathan J. Robinson is the guy's name. A smart dude, but as soon as the rubber hit the road and his employees wanted to form a workers' co-op out of their magazine, he just wasn't having it. So
one of our stalwart watchers just showed up. Uncle Warren, nice to have you. Thank you. Hola, comrade. But yeah, you said Current Affairs?
Yeah, Current Affairs.
Okay. I don't think I've really read much of that, but I'll check more of it out, and or maybe I don't know. Maybe I spit on it instead. But
you can read it online for free. That's the reason I don't subscribe to it. Like ordinarily, I would want to give money to the publication to support it, but since he did that, I'm like, I just read what's on their website for free, and I don't click on it. There's no ads, so I don't click on anything. Or at least my ad blocker blocks the ads. Who knows if there are ads on the site or not?
Fair. Well, moving in, we're gonna get through these memes right fast and in a hurry. We got just in Trump declares escalators a terrorist organization, joining Antifa out there.
There you go.
If you didn't know, so if we lie to the government, it's a felony. But if they lie to us, you tell them. You tell them, dog.
Politics. Yep.
We got Vance is here.
Wow.
Remembering the taste.
That's something right there.
Describe this smell in 3 words or less. We got a picture of Stephen Miller there, and somebody chimes in with schmegma. Yeah.
I wonder what that kind of hate smells like. I don't know. That's a good guess.
I would say some sulfurousness. You know,
probably a little brimstone there. A hint of brimstone, a soupçon of brimstone, if you will.
I know, moose bouche. Yeah. Let's see here. We got, I love Portland. This is how you fight fascism. And we got ICE troops, looks like, surrounded by a bunch of clowns, literally. The good clowns, the trained ones, not the ones that get into public office.
Clowning is actually really hard. You go to the clown college, and it's like a whole thing. Like, it's actually a very difficult.
Absolutely.
And they have their traditions, like an Augustine clown, or you this kind of clown, and it's very elaborate.
I would pull a hammy as a clown pretty fast if I tried any of that. Round over here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, clowning is serious business.
Let's see here. I asked for a dark coffee, not a depressed coffee. Sad little coffee face. Yeah, it is serious business. There's
you just ordered a depresso. I like it.
Dude, yeah, you just ordered a depresso. That's right. I think clowns are awesome, but there are
what now? You cut out.
There's a lot of folks that are scared as hell of clowns.
Oh yeah, coulrophobia. That's called.
Say that again. Cobra.
Coulrophobia. Coulrophobia.
Coulrophobia. Wow. Okay.
Coulrophobia.
That is. I'm curious about that etymology on that word, because you just think clownophobia, right?
Well, you can't mix Germanic and Greek roots like that. Or you're not supposed to.
I will reserve the right to portmanteau as I wish. We got here, whoops, God-fearing diurnal Portlanders getting shot from the military helicopters engaging in psychological warfare by flying over Portland all night. Meanwhile, the nocturnal leftist raccoon polycule households are safe from that.
Well, that's good.
Explained.
Yeah, it's a lot to explain. Diurnal Portlanders. I'm nocturnal myself, but I'm not a raccoon polycule household. Unfortunately, it's just me and my cat Freya.
Oh, that's a good name for a cat, Freya.
Yeah, Freya. It just came to me while we were in the vet. She was just cat for the longest time. She was cat for like 2 months until I had an epiphany at the vet and said, okay, her name was Freya.
Yeah, that's like the whole, like, I don't know if it's a myth or not, but where they wouldn't name babies until like after 2 or 3 years of them being alive and stuff. Right. We got here. I think now would be a good time to pay Congress minimum wage and take away their health insurance and pensions. Let them see how the rest of us survive in a world they create but does not apply to them.
There's a petition circulating online to deny them pay while the government is shut down. And I think that's an interesting idea.
Yeah,
We should at
I
least sign it.
concur.
Not that they'll never do it, but we should at least sign it and send it to them and let them know how much we hate them.
Yeah. Yeah, and I did see Katie Britt say she's going to not accept pay right now, which, all right, broken clock. But yeah, also got to roll my eyes at her. I need to warm up for this one. Do re mi. Generals gathered in their masses. President calls them all fat asses. All right.
I love it.
Oh, okay. Y'all ready? Boo. Yeah, the Laura Loomer mask, the Loomer goon. I want this, dude. I want this. I want to dress up as Laura Loomer for Halloween now and sit on my front porch and give out candy.
That's too spooky, man.
Dude, we could make a whole ass horror movie trilogy with just this mask.
I'm telling you. Wow.
Yeah, me about to make a bad situation worse by injecting some ill-timed humor. Cute little monkey smiling. Yeah. Whoops. Sorry. All right. We'll zoom in a little on this one because I need better glasses. Ruling class, Gen Z are all brain rotted, lazy. They don't want to work anymore. They will never amount to anything. Gen Z overthrows the Nepalese government and starts a worldwide wave of resistance against corrupt elites. Ruling class, surprise Pikachu face.
Yeah, I'm proud of my Nepalese comrades. Running their country from Discord. Against the communists, by the way.
The love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
Huh?
Against the communist government, by the way, in Nepal that was so corrupt.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like it doesn't matter the economic system, like corruption can infect all of them, and authoritarianism can infect all of them. And I don't know about you, but I am hella anti-authoritarian.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And hella anti-corruption.
Yeah, the goal is not to replicate the Soviet Union and the art.
No, exactly. Like, and it can be done, folks. A better world is possible.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Let's get this flag. Don't tread on me with them escalators. Yes,
Trump and the escalators.
Okay. Let's see here. Ominous positivity. You will be okay. You have no choice. Everything will turn out fine. You cannot stop it. You will succeed. It is inevitable. Better days are already coming. It is too late now.
I wish I believed any of that. I am inclined towards negativity just by pessimism by nature. Like I've always been.
No, I had a long what the healthy pessimism is okay. I had a long ass one in here just for you, but we cut it because it's so goddamn long. Because I like all the long wall of text shit, which doesn't play as well.
Yeah.
When my toddler asked to watch Paw Patrol, fascists.
That's right. ACAB includes the Paw Patrol.
Yeah, that's and I don't know, I can't remember what the Wild Ones. I think that's the name of the show. This British show is pretty funny. It's an old one too.
Paw Patrol is propaganda. I will die on this hill.
And then the president invaded Oregon because he was embarrassed about getting stuck on an escalator. Grandpa, stop making shit up. Yeah,
Yep.
we are going to be telling those tales.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, the generals are calling them Fat Man and Little Boy because of how badly they bombed, in
Ouch.
reference to it's something like he had 800 generals and admirals in their senior enlisted personnel there, and
All in one
I did a
place.
little, yeah, I did a little back of the hand calculation, and back of the napkin. It was somewhere around 24,000 years of military experience,
Wow.
and these two boys think they gonna do something about that. I don't know. I don't think they got it in it. What's up, Corey?
What's up, Corey?
How is the data? Uh, it's good to have you here. Thank you.
It's good to see you.
We're
Yeah,
we're getting
absolutely.
through these memes, and yeah, always a pleasure.
Always a
And,
pleasure.
well, we need to have you on talking about that data someday.
What a weird speech it was that Hegseth gave about beardos and no more fat generals and what?
So much of it was like so like the beards themselves. That's like a super racist thing. Like, there's a percentage. I mean, not a majority, but a non-zero percentage of black folks, black dudes in the military that they suffer from, they get ingrown hairs from shaving, and it sucks. And I've had buddies that had shaven profiles, and they deployed, they did all the things, but like they would get like crazy ingrown hairs. They would be bloody and scarred and stuff like that. Like, so like that's that beardo thing, which of course it's racist. Like,
Of course, why would
why, yeah, everything out
why
of
would
his
you say
goddamn
assault
mouth.
tattoos is racist? Well, it's color me shocked.
Yeah. We got 1982. Careful. Wait, I think that's Rupert Murdoch. Careful, buddy. That foreigner wants your cookie. I
That's
don't
pretty
know
good.
how Australian that. Thank you. 2025. Careful, buddy. That foreigner wants your cookie.
I used to do
Yeah,
a
and he's
Steve
got
Irwin
even more
impression.
fucking cookies.
Yep.
You did a what impression?
I used to do a Steve Irwin impression with an Australian accent, which I'm not going to do for you now. I'll just talk about.
May he rest in peace. He was awesome. His kids are awesome too. You're on the Oregon Trail now, folks, and you have died from listening to JFK, RFK Jr.
There you go.
We got Americans looking up at the butterfly of basic human rights, and they ask, "Is this communism?"
I know, right? Kamala Harris was recently quoted as saying Donald Trump was a communist dictator, and I was just like, "What are you talking about? If only he were a communist."
And of course, during the campaign, he called her Comrade Kamala and called her a communist.
Right.
I do not think
yeah,
you know what that word means.
Exactly. Like, it's one thing for Trump to be dumb, but it's another thing for Kamala Harris. Like, her dad is like a legit Marcus professor. Like, she ought to know better.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
I wonder what their Thanksgivings are like. Because, like, in my family, I'm the crazy political uncle. Only, like, I'm a leftist instead of a right winger. So I drink a beer and pop off about socialism to the kids and why they should form student unions that overthrow their oppressive parents and all kinds of other things.
Well, I'm in that boat too, bro. Actually, we got Thanksgiving coming up, and yeah, I plan on breaking their brains even further.
Oh yeah.
Corey says I would like for the folks who believe this to be communism happening in America to identify the communists who donated to Trump's campaign.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's a weird dynamic in my family because I'm the crazy single political uncle. I'm the spinster political uncle. Like when they would talk about their crazy uncle, it's me.
Well,
I'm usually
remain
not.
crazy. Breaking. Cash Patel found more bullets. I'm a leftist. Really, I am. Honestly, Antifa rules.
This is more believable than the anti-ice written on the other bullet. Like I could see
Yeah.
somebody writing Antifa rules on a bullet, but like writing anti-ice on it, like it's just not something we would say.
No.
No, I mean, like, and I'm not saying like, oh, our side is violent or whatever, but I am saying that like the message of the anti-ice bullet is just not believable. Like a few years ago, there was this, and I think I told the story last time, but there was some politician somewhere who claimed that BLM had tagged up his driveway in his car and it said "Blacks Rule" on the front of his garage. It's like that is not a message that Black Lives Matter wrote on your garage. That is something that you did, sir. Like it's so obviously fake.
Blacks rule. Blacks rule. Excellent.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a thing that black radicals are known to say often.
Yeah, dude. We got the enlightened centrist over here.
Oh God, I hate these people.
I'm not left or I think everybody hates him, bro. I'm not left or right. I'm a secret third thing. Right.
Exactly.
I respect all I respect all political viewpoints. It's just a coincidence I only happen to show support for the right-wing ones. Both sides are equally bad. I think anti-fascism is the same as fascism and should be treated exactly the same, which says a lot about what I really believe if you think about it. You see, it's all about striking a balance between criticizing the left and defending the right. I'm above all that partisan fighting. Basically, I found a way to feel superior to both sides without taking any principled positions. I stand for absolutely nothing, Lamau.
Yeah, see, now you never need to read an Ezra Klein column because you've basically just read them all. Mr. Abundance.
Yeah. Fuck him. Far-right extremists shooting far-right extremists. And then the far-right extremists are asking, why do trans people do this?
Yeah.
Why indeed? Here we go. I get down with this one. Jesus, the true communist, as he's beating the brakes off of folks at Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, JB Morgan, Citibank, and all those other scumbags.
Yeah, I remember when people ask what would Jesus do, that turning over tables and making a whip out of cords to chase people with is in the realm of options.
For real.
So that's the thing that he did.
And last one, here we go. Capitalism, more like crapitalism. Am I right, ladies? Karl Marx, probably.
Mark Slave.
Yeah. So yeah, and that, folks, took way too long, even after I edited everything. We are into this week in socialist history. And you're going to have to excuse me because I didn't do all my reading like I try to do every week. But once again, I'll reference the unprofessionalism around here. But we got the Sojourners for Truth and Justice. September 29th, the Black Socialist Feminist Group, Sojourners for Truth and Justice, they convened in Washington, D.C. in 1951. It was led by activists Louise Thompson Patterson, Shirley Graham Du Bois, and Charlotta Bass. It was originally a group of 14 African-American women. that issued a call to Negro women to convene in Washington for a sojourner for truth and justice to protest government attacks on sociologist W.E.B. Du Bois, who is also a historian, civil rights activist, Pan-Africanist, author, and editor. In less than 2 weeks, more than 132 women from 14 states responded to the call. And, they went on talk about transnational activism, which why doesn't this just say international?
I don't know.
Okay.
Good question.
Invoking the tradition of radical Black women like Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman, General Harriet Tubman. Put some respect on that, right? Sojourners for Truth and Justice mobilized Black women against Jim Crow, the U.S. Cold War domestic and foreign policy, and the only group on the communist left led by African American women. Sojourners for Truth and Justice members included newspaper editor Charlotta Bass, Angie Dickerson, and Shirley Graham Du Bois, activists Dorothy Hutton, Louise Thompson Patterson, the young poet and actor Beulah Richardson, and writer Eslanda Good Robson. And it goes into the history and their work with the USSR and a little into their legacy. But yeah, an interesting organization of Black female-led communists.
It sounds awesome. So we got a question about where you read the socialist history from. Do you want to plug the calendar?
Oh, yes, I do. So we're going from, we got this from DSA. Because I try to donate 1% of my income, and portion of those dues go to the chapter and go to national. And oh my God, this thing almost had it. It says education for all right there for September, and we're moving from September into October, where we got housing could be free.
That's right, it could be. Anytime
I love this picture. Yeah.
Housing, food, medical
I love the pictures. Yeah, there's enough for everybody. There's a study out there that shows that the current population only requires about 30% of the resources that are being used. So that just blows my mind right there. I didn't think it'd be that low. I thought, 50, 70%, something like that. But 30% of the resources that are being used is all that's required for people to have a decent life.
Well, it just shows you how much more the
with
wealthy,
that,
like all that's being produced and consumed by the wealthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
globally, the top 1%, I was going to say globally, the top 1%, they own 95% of the wealth. And in the States right now, the top 20% of folks account for almost 70% of consumption, let's just say. So the bottom 80% is buying whatever about 30% of the resources out there. So
wow.
So yeah. Oh, you're keeping your eye. Oh, okay. Good eye. Thank you for paying attention to the chat. But yeah, if you can order it from the calendar from the DSA website, and I don't know if they'll do it next year, but because I was given 1% of my income, they sent me a calendar automatically. So, and I love it. Not that I'm very good with utilizing my calendars, but I certainly love time and the concept of calendars and organization. Oh, but we got the next day, September 30th, was the Ole Miss riot in 1962. also known as the Battle of
Oxford.
Oxford.
That sounds.
Yeah. But the Mississippi National Guard were called in to stop rioting after James Meredith, a black student, enrolls at Ole Miss in 1962. And this was JFK that called them in. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say a good use of the National Guard.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Yeah, and came in the wake of the and if you look at this is the Supreme Court 1954 decision of Brown versus the Board of Education. It almost a decade later is when somebody tried to, do something about it, right?
It's crazy to think that the grandfather who raised me was in his 20s when this happened. Like, so how close to history this was, or to how close to us this was.
Yeah, it's we're like every country, we're a very flawed country, but we've slowly, especially less economically, but socially, things have gotten better. I'm not saying that there are not problems, because we're going to talk about some of the problems here in a few, but this was not long ago at all, man. Just like really a stone's throw, where there was no integration in this country. And after it happened, it's like these, the white supremacists didn't want it to happen, because then they knew that folks would just get along. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
this is one of the reasons I support reparations, by the way, in that one of the biggest predictors of whether or not you'll go to college is whether or not your parents go to college. And if your parents weren't allowed to go to college because of some law, then that is significant amounts of generational wealth that your family was denied. And I think you see that continue to the present day. And the only way to fix that is to return that stolen wealth where they would be. Like, you either have to argue that there's something about the way America has historically treated African Americans to put them below in terms of average wealth, or you have to argue that it's some sort of genetic thing. And like, obviously we know it's right. Like, there's really only two possibilities. You have to argue there's something wrong with black people, or there's something wrong with the way they've been treated. And we know there's nothing wrong with black people. So
kind of sorts itself out there, don't it?
Right. So we have to fix that. And the only way to do that is to pay reparations, I think.
Yeah, I'm for reparations. I don't know exactly what the hell it would look like, but I know, but that's that can be figured out with committees and analysis and studies and whatnot.
Well, we do a Truth and Reconciliation Committee like they did in South Africa, and like they ought to do in Israel and Palestine. And we figure it out, and we talk amongst each other about what it would look like, and work it out. Like, it's a healing act for both parties. Like, we restore the wealth that was taken, and we can. It forms a history point that we can be proud of, and we don't have to point to a record of just unbroken mistreatment of black people.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Right.
So the mob swelled to about 2,500 people. The protesters started assaulting people with Molotovs and acid bottles.
Wow.
Yeah. This is, is it? No. This would be a good movie. This is something I like. Like, if I owned a movie studio, I would be making movies about all like the crazy ass history you don't see. I think there was a movie about Fred Hampton a few years ago. Was it Black Messiah?
Judas. I think it was called Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yeah, there
something
we
like
go.
that. It was a good movie.
Yeah. But like just all these events, that get, because once this stuff gets like, it's hard to get folks to read books. 16% of the country reads books for pleasure. Yeah. I'm one of those 16%. I know you are too, Red Mike.
Yeah, I tried
but
to. I haven't had much time lately, but I read whenever I can. Reading is my preferred media consumption.
But like getting introduced to this stuff and having like a lot more digestible, maybe even enjoyable experience, like like historical movies, to get folks to take another step. It's just like access, or I don't know if access is the right word. Makes history more accessible. Let me put it like that. Which is
Absolutely.
one reason why, I appreciate all these historical YouTubers out there, especially. Yeah, I have to get myself to read a book, but I try to do it to learn. Sure. Yeah.
I've
I'm
always
trying
been a
to
book,
finish up.
just like a book nerd.
You,
But
you
I
got
enjoy movies as well, and like it's great when like I really enjoyed Judas and the Black Messiah. I thought it was good. It was a good movie, and I thought, hey, we're helping to make Fred Hampton a household name among people who watch it. So that's great.
dog. Yeah. What so young, so damn young. He
Right?
is
Wasn't he like 21?
I thought he was 19. He might have been 21 when he passed.
21 when he died.
But,
Yeah, 21 years old.
Okay. Yeah. I certainly wasn't doing nothing like that when I was 21. I think I was.
Are you kidding? I had
Yeah.
I had my head so far up my rear end I couldn't even tell you when I was 21 years old. And this man was out here organizing the masses to the extent that the FBI saw him as a threat.
Yeah.
I can't imagine having myself so squared away at so young an age.
Well, we
was still-
finally made it.
One, yeah. I thought I was a capitalist.
So yeah, that was September 30th. I encourage you to read more on that subject. We got another thing on October 1st. In 1949, the People's Republic of China was born. Which I guess technically, I didn't really know this, lasted only until 76, until Mao's death.
Yeah, it wasn't until the dingus reforms, I think, that you could make a case that it really wasn't the People's Republic per se anymore.
But yeah, it was it says here September 29th. Oh no, there it is. The founding of the People's Republic of China was formally proclaimed by Mao Zedong, the chairman of the Chinese Communist Party, on October 1st, 1949 at 3 p.m. in Tiananmen Square in Beijing. The establishment of the Central People's Government of the PRC, the government of the new nation, was officially declared during the proclamation speech at the founding ceremony. A military parade took place during the founding. So yeah, it was founded, y'all, on October 1st, and you can that's like, I want to read some more, a whole lot more about China's history,
I would
especially their fight and all the stuff that was happening during World War II, when they banded together with, I guess basically capitalists, to fight the Japanese invasion.
Yeah, I would like to learn more about the history of China and about Maoism writ large. Like I don't know as much about socialist denominations as I ought to. And I'm not saying I would like become a Maoist or something, but I would like to know what makes Maoism different from other forms of communism and yeah.
Well, my dumb ass wants to keep it simple. Love thy neighbor, eat the rich.
Right, exactly.
You know, we can talk we can talk about tax policy and whatnot, but you know,
Well, I think
I
that
figure those two things will cover a lot.
the purpose of reading the theory is to learn to apply theory to your own particular context, and not necessarily to replicate historical battles.
Right.
Right.
Is the things have changed. Like, you know, I was thinking the other day, you think Marx envisioned space imperialism? Because that's happening, right?
Right.
Like, you know, or did he envision the global collapse of our ecosphere? You know, like things are a little different, or global fucking surveillance states.
Yeah,
Corporate.
later developments have been essential to the development of socialism writ large. Look, I consider myself an eco-socialist, and the critiques of environmentalism that environmentalism has made of not only the capitalist model, but also of, say, the socialist or the Soviet model, I think have a great deal of weight. And I'm not interested in having worker-owned factories that dump whatever they want into the river in a government where you're not able to criticize that without going to the gulag for 10 years.
Yeah. I did neglect to mention October 1st was also Yom Kippur. So shout out to all the Jewish folks out there. You know, we love you, you know.
Yeah. Hopefully you had an easy fast, and may your name be sealed.
I have no clue what the hell the fast part I know. I don't know about the sealing thing.
Oh, may your be so well. I don't want to say it wrong, so I won't say. But basically,
Okay.
it's about having your name sealed into the book of life.
Okay. All right. Okay. That sounds like a nice thing. So we got over here, we have student protesters killed in Mexico City's the Teloco massacre. I know I chopped up that word.
Tlatelolco.
Loco.
So
Thank you.
TL is a consonant that doesn't occur in English. It's one of my favorite consonants, and I love it. So to make what's called the lateral fricative, you put your tongue like you're going to say L, as in like, and then blow air out instead. So it sounds like like that. And then if you add a T, it makes the TL sound. Tlatelolco.
Tlatelolco. I got it. Tlatelolco.
Exactly.
All right.
So that sound also.
Well, this was a.
Which is why I know about it.
It occurs in what?
Klingon cold.
Got you. Well, this was a military massacre committed by the Mexican Armed Forces against the National Autonomous University of Mexico, the National Polytechnic Institute, and other universities in Mexico. This was in 1968. Followed a series of demonstrations known as the Mexican Movement of 1968 and considered part of the Mexican Dirty War, when the U.S.-backed Institutional Revolutionary Party government violently repressed political and social opposition. The event occurred 10 days before the opening ceremony of the 1968 Summer Olympics, which were carried out as scheduled. So, 68 was when they did them in Mexico. I have not heard of the Mexican Dirty War. It was the Mexican theater of the Cold War, an internal conflict from the 60s to the 80s. Well, shout out that they've moved on from that and are moving further into sensible things with their new president and all.
Oh yeah, Claudia Sheinbaum. She's doing a great job, by the way.
Well, I
But
want to
have
know
to
who her, because she can only serve one term, which I wish she could serve two, but you know, I wonder who's going to be coming up behind her. You know what I mean?
I don't know. But I've been reading. I read an article about her work recently in Jacobin, and it was talking about some of the good work that she's been doing there. So I've tried to follow her presidency. Although I have to say, I have lots of friends from Mexico, and they say the country's full of has its own share of right wingers and boomers and other people who are full of bad politics. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's making progress, and
Yeah. Although I'm told that Mexico City itself is quite progressive and is a nice city. If I ever left the States, Mexico City is on my list of places I might go.
Oh, well, I got some good news for you. I've read Curtis Yarvin's latest little blog post, which was indecipherable for the most part, because he's got quite a thesaurus that he uses.
I know his writing style is very opaque. He reminds me of like a almost a GK, like almost GK Chesterton, whom I also people rave about GK Chesterton, but I find him to be unreadable the way that he writes. It's just too much. And Yarvin writes in the same way.
Too smart by half,
Right, exactly.
Well, he said that he is scared and wants to move out of the country.
Scared of what? What's he got to be scared of?
Because he's scared that the Trump stuff is all failing. So he actually has a good read on that. You know what I mean? That's what he's basically scared of. He's like, basically, they're incompetent and not doing the thing, which, whatever that thing in his indecipherableness is, but not doing the thing, and that it's all going to blow back on him and he needs to leave. So that made me feel good.
Was he talking about going to Mexico City?
No, he did not mention Mexico City. Did he mention some place in particular? I don't recall. I don't think he mentioned a place in particular.
I'm told though, like the only downside would be like I'm told there's a lot of I have a lot of friends who live in Mexico City, and they say there's a lot of anti-gentrification protesting being done, and so like I'd be worried about contributing to gentrification if I moved down there. But they're always like, oh, you'd love it down here. Come to Mexico City. I certainly should visit at least one day.
So when I think about gentrification, like I think more about like developers, and correct me if I'm wrong, folks. I think more about developers versus, somebody trying to find a place to live. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but sometimes the anger boils down to the people who are benefiting from those systems too, and getting those houses and driving up the prices, right? Like, because I'd be paying for an apartment that somebody else couldn't afford. I had to worry about that a little bit when I lived in San Francisco too. Like, I made a point that I'm not living in the Mission.
But
with
that though, you we go back to kind of like that no borders type thinking.
Right.
Like, where does that play in, But I personally think that any neighborhood would be very lucky to have you. So that's my take on that. This, I always try to check if some of this stuff has been in media, and there's some music that's been done, a documentary, El Grito, Mexico 68, Rojo Amanecer, from 89. And an Alexandro Jodorowsky dramatized the massacre in the Holy Mountain. He's one of the dudes that was supposed to do Dune.
Oh yeah, we missed.
Originally.
We knew that we got into the bad timeline when Jodorowsky's Dune didn't come into being.
And there's several more novels, more documentaries, feature film, Tlatelolco, Verano del 68, released in 2012. I started watching this show, The Ethernaut, which is supposed to be based on this comic book. It takes place in Argentina, but it's supposed to be like based on this comic book that's like anti-fascist and anti-capitalist and stuff. But I'm only like halfway through the first episode. Nothing's happened yet, except like you kind of met all the characters, right?
Right.
So, but there's a lot of stuff. Look at this, Andor reference. They say that, and then we got some narco stuff here, but yeah, U.S. backed, right there in Mexico. On the 3rd of October, court rules against censorship of Allen Ginsberg's Howl and Other Poems from 1957. It came out in 55. The book, and the trial started in like March. But this is a big obscenity trial because it had references to illicit drugs and sexual practices, both hetero and homosexual. And they claimed the book was obscene, and customs officials seized 520 copies that were being imported from England. People were arrested, and the libraries here in Alabama, we're still fighting this fight.
Right.
But yeah, it was a highly publicized trial with articles appearing in Time and Life. Ferlinghetti wrote his own account and published in an Evergreen Review in 57. His lead defense attorney, Jake Ehrlich, followed this with a book devoted to the landmark case entitled Howl of the Censor. And the 2010 film Howl depicts the events of the trial. I did not know. Okay. I did not know they had it was around the trial, which kind of makes sense, now that I think about it. But James Franco was in that, and that's from 2010. But yeah, check it out. We got a couple more things before the conspiracy of the week. And on October 4th, 5,000 cotton pickers strike in Corcoran. What? I can't even. I'm tired. I'm already tired, dog. But is a strike of mostly Mexican and Filipino agricultural workers through the San Joaquin Valley. More than 47,500 workers were involved in the wave of approximately 30 strikes, which took place from 1931 to 1941. This is what I'm trying to talk to, like what I try to impart on folks when I see them or talking about stuff like this, about fighting for what's right, is like, everybody's going to retire, take a knee, whatever. But not everybody, but what we're facing now and what every worker has really always ever faced is you have to always fight for your rights, because there's always been folks coming after them. and trying to make things worse because they think they're better than you because they got money or what have you. So I think there's just highlights on that, especially now because, Donald Trump disappeared again this past week, and, rumors abounded again. And, but, like, you take away Donald Trump and the fascism is still going to be there. You're still going to have Stephen Miller talking about how he's more hardcore than you and all this other stuff. And
Yeah, it takes a
Jaden,
movement to defeat a movement,
yeah,
and that's what they've got on their side. They've got a movement that we have to organize. We have to out-organize them, or else.
yeah.
Sorry to
And
interrupt you.
no, you're good. And I will say it is a shrinking movement because earlier, I think prior to the election, something like, or it might have been, yeah, prior to the election, something like 55% of Republicans identified as MAGA. And that number is now 17%. 17%. So the foundation of their shit is crumbling and cracking. And they're going to keep trying to squeeze, but they are weak. They are weak. That's one reason why they're so like puffed up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like,
bullying and cruelty are always marks of weak people. And that is what motivates them, is cruelty and the desire to bully anybody who's different from them. They're losing and they know it.
Yeah. I mean, like, I pay attention to statistics a lot, especially when it comes to working class. And that's something I pay extra attention to because to me, it's like a barometer of our society. Divorced from the political class, who always get, or the podcaster class, or whoever who gets to run their mouths with a camera in front of them, forcing everybody to listen to them. But even like conservatives are tired of the culture war shit on trans folks. Like that's over 50% now in support of trans rights. But you don't hear about that, and people get tired. Like people ain't dumb. Like they might be conservative or whatever, but not all of them are like, foaming at the mouth, freaks, right? They're like regular people who you disagree on tax policy and because they believe trickle down works or whatever. And capitalism is good, but when they see like the political folks like push these propaganda that trans folks are shooting everybody, and then they can plainly see that it's not the case, like it just erodes their propaganda. You know what I mean?
I hope so. I worry every day for my trans comrades.
Yeah.
There's a moral panic that's being fanned about them.
Yeah. And it's, but it's the same story through history that we keep running into, which is the divide and conquer to pick some marginalized group. This week is trans folks, next week it's women, next week it's what have you. Pick your flavor of the week of who's the enemy of the week, right? Who's the outsider of the week?
Right.
But yeah, there's cotton strike out in California in 33. They fought 10 years, and it just shows you the power of the working class, the staying strength, the grit, uh, the capacity, and all of that. And when the working class fights, we win. And yeah, wish it was a movie and it could all be done in 90 minutes, but that ain't the way it works, folks. But so yeah, we got one more little thing. Another strike. 23,000 workers, textile workers, participate in the Lawrence Textile Strike in Maine in 1931. This is on October 5th. I couldn't find a wiki on this, oddly enough. Massachusetts. My dumbass. But even before this, so I did find from like 1912 to like 1913 an article on it. So once again, so 1912 to 1913, and here it's 20 years later and they're still fighting. You know what I mean? So and this is from March. This is from the Militant. Awesome, right? From 1 March 1931. Signs of active workers' resistance to the capitalist offensive are here. In Lawrence, Mass., a total of 10,000 textile workers have struck the American Woolen Company's mills against an increased speed-up system and a wage cut. These speed-ups were part of like manufacturers' tactics on workers. These strikers immediately began militant mass picketing. It has thus become one of the early small beginnings of a rise in labor movement, which is funny. The labor movement's always been there. You know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah. Even going back before the country was founded, before, going back and back and back and back. It's always been there. February 16th, because, fundamentally, it's always been for literally thousands of years, the working class versus rich people. That's what it's always been, man.
It's been the story of civilization.
Whatever economic system, it's rich people versus working class people. Always. And then those working class people also wanting human rights beyond, the economic situation, and rich people not wanting them to have it, or trying to divide the working class up along, like, oh, you get this, but they don't because you're special. When at the end of the day, they'd all have us in chains if they could, because they have, and they did. Yeah. And still today, there's millions of people in slavery out there. I think there's something estimated around 27 million people that are in some form of bondage. But yeah. So there's this little article from Marxist.architectures.net on the strike out in Lawrence, Massachusetts, for textile workers. Oh, and I guess that brings us to, well, did you have anything for?
I only had one thing, and I only want to mention it, like, again, not that I'm like some sort of apologist for the Soviet Union, because I'm really not. But this is a huge pet peeve of mine. So October the 4th is the anniversary of the launch of Sputnik. And Sputnik is the Russian word for satellite. So they very creatively named it satellite. It's kind of a pun in that in English, we have the term fellow traveler for someone who is not quite a socialist yet, or not quite a communist yet, but they're traveling in our circles. They're kind of a fellow traveler. But in Russian, the word for that is satellite, Sputnik. So it's kind of a pun in that it means satellite, but it also means fellow traveler.
I get that orbit, you're in somebody's orbit, right?
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I say all that because America likes to tell itself that it won the space race. But really, let's look at the stats here. Like, who put the first person in space? Who put the first woman in space? Who launched the first satellite? So the Soviet Union did all of these things, and then America decided, no, it only counts if you go to the moon. And then we went to the moon and said, yay, we won the space race, even though like all the practical things had already been done by the Soviet Union. So like it's like me seeing somebody else win a race, and then me running out and saying, oh, no, it only counts if you do this, and then doing that thing. Like, it's just very strange to me that America says that it won the space race. And especially since we only went to the moon a couple of times, and then we basically quit going because there was only limit. Like, it's cost a lot of money, and there's limited scientific output you can get from it, right? But we use satellites every day. The technology that was developed to put people in space, we use that stuff every day. So who really won the space race? It wasn't America, I'll tell you. That's just a pet peeve that I have.
And if you use a microwave, you won the space race. Your Velcro, your Tang. I don't even know how many things that came from the space race, right? But yeah, to your point, USSR did a whole lot of shit regarding all of it. They engineered all their stuff, and if I recall correctly, they didn't use fucking Nazis.
Right. And I don't mean to crap on landing on the moon, because it was an incredible scientific and technical achievement, and I don't want to take away from that. But when you look at the firsts, the Soviet Union won all of the firsts. Like, they even had the first spacecraft land on the moon, the Luna 2 in 1959.
I did not know that.
So yeah, like.
Okay. Do you know what would have been great if I had somehow decided to talk about the moon landing conspiracy for this week's conspiracy?
You did, indeed? Like, really?
No, wouldn't that have been awesome?
Yeah,
that would have been. Maybe that's what. Yeah. I gotta try to find. Oh, I'm just talking to myself now. But
it's all good.
Yeah,
shout out to the Soviet space program. The first blank in space was done by the Soviets, except for
so many things. Oh, when the other day, when all them women went to space on, I think, Bezos's penis, they mentioned like, oh, there hasn't been. They mentioned like women going to space, and I was like, are they going to say it? Are they going to say it?
They're going to say Valentina Tereshkova. They didn't say her name, did they?
Right. No, they didn't even mention the fucking country, dog.
Wow.
They were just like, there was women space first, and now these women.
Right.
Yeah.
Valentina Tereshkova was the first woman in space in 1963. Yeah. So a couple of decades before Sally Ride went up. But again, not to throw any shade on Sally Ride. Like, I'm sure she was a far more accomplished person than me. But the Soviets beat us to it. So yeah.
Which,
So October the 4th is the anniversary of that beeping little satellite. It's also Saint Francis of Assisi's birthday. St. Francis is my favorite saint.
Okay.
So
I'm like a St. Augustine person.
I'm all about some Saint Francis.
Yeah. But I think St. Augustine actually wrote about socialism, if I recall correctly. Did St. Francis?
I mean, St. Francis lived in community with his brothers in the friary. Like, he's the one who founded the first mendicant order in the Catholic Church, the Order of Little Brothers, the Fratres Minores. and he famously got rid of his family's wealth, or swore off his family's wealth, and married Lady Poverty, and lived a life of
Okay.
radical solidarity with the poor.
Okay.
So he
Hey,
admired
hey.
about socialism in those terms, and he was much more mystically oriented. But he lived a communal life with other friars, and eschewed his merchant father's wealth, much to the chagrin of his
Well, I
merchant father.
mean, Jesus says, you want to be rich, real rich, give your stuff away and follow me,
Right. Give to those who ask of you. Like, no, I could talk about the Bible and what it says about the poor for hours.
Well, we do need that to counterbalance the prosperity gospel that's out there.
I thought about writing a book about Christian socialism. I thought
Let's
that might
do
be
it.
interesting.
I'll be your editor.
There you go. But it would be an interesting project. Like, not only because in the 1800s there was a flourishing Christian socialist movement both in America and in Britain that you could talk about the history of.
Well,
And
I don't know if he might, but there's that Tellerico fella out in Texas who's running for Senate.
yeah,
James
James
Tellerico.
Collins,
He's a pastor. I would no one's asked him this, but I would be curious as to what his answer is about capitalism and socialism and whatnot. But maybe he's doing some calculus to not freak everybody out, but he's getting a bit of a following.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard him say anything about socialism or capitalism in any of his speeches, and I pay attention to him. But he's written and spoken a lot about his faith and why it leads him to a more progressive point of view.
Yeah, love thy neighbor.
Right.
Maybe I'll ask him on social media if he wants to eat the rich. If he's got social media. But okay, all right. So shout out the USSR space program, and shout out Fogvid 24.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, you've not heard of this. Okay, good.
I don't keep up with it. I love conspiracy theories, but I don't know how to keep up with them the way that you do.
Oh, the way they're turned out is it's impossible to keep up. We could do, every day, like if we looked hard enough, we could probably find some new conspiracy theory on social media to talk about, But this one is that alleging that an unusual winter fog in late 2024 and early 2025 was toxic or engineered and variously described as a chemical or biological agent, smart dust, or a cover for hidden activity, and that it caused clusters of flu-like symptoms. The term FogVid24 was popularized on TikTok and X, and during a period of widespread fog in North America and the UK. Fact checkers and meteorologists attributed the report to ordinary foggy conditions, seasonal respiratory illness, and misinterpretation of visual effects under lights, noting that there's no evidence that the fog was engineered or that contained harmful agents. But again, right, as I point out time and time again, like, these things have like a touch of truth to them because that's the best ones do. And but they asserted that it was making folks sick, that it claims that the fog carried surveillance or control particles, and that drones observed in videos were deploying the agents. And this is where I talk about like the call back to history, because Operation Sea Spray in 1950 was a U.S. Navy secret biological warfare experiment in which Serratia marcescens and Bacillus globuli bacteria were spread over San Francisco to determine the effects of biological warfare. And I think this Operation Sea Spray, I think it fell under like MK Ultra. I might be wrong on that, but
There
I
are
think
two
it
kinds
did.
of conspiracy theory. I swear. There's just crazy, made up, just lunatic garbage, and then there's stuff that the American government actually copped to at some congressional hearing at some point in time.
By accident. Like,
Right. Like, no, the CIA actually admitted that they did that. And like, it's just hard to, sometimes it can be hard to tell the difference.
exactly. So yeah, why do people come up with conspiracy theories like this? Because governments have done, especially the United States government has done some crazy ass fucking shit over and over again.
I mean, yeah, I think it's a symptom of just the collapse of trust in institutions.
Yeah.
And people bemoan that, but like it's on the institutions to prove that they're trustworthy. And they've
Yeah.
done a poor job at doing that. And people just know that their own lot is getting worse and worse every year, and being told by the same people in power that they need to just tolerate it. Like, this is the way things are supposed to work, and no better system is possible.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, that's our conspiracy of the week. And I think with that, we are going to, where are we at? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Let's get into some news. Oh wait, before we do news, there's events that have been. Can I do that? Hold on. Damn it. Well, I can't bring up the flyer because I suck. But there's been events up here around Huntsville in support of Palestinian folks. The I'm not sure what one organization in, but one of the organizations is Young Palestinians in Huntsville. I think there's the Muslim Student Association at UAH is the other one. I think they've been organizing up here. They had on October 3rd, they had a film screening. October 4th, they had a table at the International Festival, which was yesterday. I got to go there last year. They were there last year too. But like that's a cool little festival. It's got great food, all kinds of food, and then like all these tables with like, you know, just showing folks culture, and it's, go and ask, go talk to folks. It's fun. Like, what's this thing? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
October 5th, which was today, there was a protest for Palestine and the genocide happening there. That was at Big Spring Park. But now on the 8th, there's a Let's Talk Palestine, a History 101 and Q&A panel. And this is it's going to be Wednesday at the Madison Masjid Prayer Hall at 6 p.m. That's on October 8th. And on October 11th, kite flying and Palestinian poetry reading. That's this coming Saturday at Big Spring Park at 11:30. So,
Well, that sounds nice.
yeah. And if you follow us on social media on our Instagram, and you can see our Instagram tag right there, like you see all this stuff get shared to keep you informed and whatnot. Also coming up October 18th is the No Kings protest. There's well, actually, we'll get to that. We got an article on that. How about we wait on that? And let me see here. Oh goodness. So maybe I can find it. Well, there's some stuff coming up empowering women's causes and the SPLC. Also in the news this past week. They got an educational panel recognizing the divisive concepts used against public librarians on Thursday, the 9th at 6 p.m. And you can register at the splcenter.org Huntsville forum. Let me just share that right there. Huntsville Madison County Educational Forum. That's Thursday the 9th, 6 to 7:30. So that'd be cool to go to. Yeah. Panelists, fascist groups and their tactics, cold hard facts, and through my lens. This is Alex here, awesome organizer, a real fighter, and yeah, dope ass person. So that'll be good. And they're an excellent public speaker too. I've been able to hear them speak at city council several times. They're a good public speaker. What else? There's so I'm kicking myself because I don't have the dates, but oh, there's also there's a rapid response mutual aid fund out there that folks are raising money for to help people, and we're going to talk about some of that too. Help people that are encountering ICE and their lives are getting turned inside out. But there's also this month down in Montgomery a big meeting, and there was just a meeting at the Huntsville Library Board. But where's the details? I thought I had the details quicker than that. Oh, there's also on October 25th, 2 to 5 at Butler Green. There's Heyday, which is an event that's going to have young Palestinians there, All Track, At the Root, Surge, Green Party, DSA, and it's organized by Indivisible. Great folks. So glad to have them in the community working. And yeah, so that's coming up too, October 25th. And yeah, I can't seem to find the stuff about the library, but there was just a library board meeting, and we're fighting fascist moms for liberty, and what is it, Clean Up Alabama and all them. So yeah, but I just wanted to mention that stuff real quick before we hopped into the news. And where do you want to start with the news, Jay?
Well, since we're talking about events, have you covered the No Kings events to your satisfaction, or do you want to talk about that article first?
Oh, well, let's hit that article first. That's a wise choice. Let me find it. Nope. Where are you, little article? There it is. Boom. This is from the Montgomery Advertiser. The second No Kings protest is planned nationwide on October 18th. And these are 12 events that are set for Alabama. Yeah, thousands are expected. There's something like 1,600 cities, at least at this point. That was a number from like a week, 2 weeks ago that I saw. What are they? It was launched by Indivisible, a nonprofit coalition of political action groups to fight Donald Trump. The group says Trump is disappearing immigrants, deploying troops to cities, threatening democratic processes through voter suppression and redistricting efforts. President thinks his rule is absolute, but in America, we don't have kings, and we won't back down against chaos, corruption, and cruelty. I like this little sentence. The protests are intended to be nonviolent. Well, that seems ominous, does it not? Like,
just a little bit.
It says that in June, more than 5 million. We had I don't think this is correct. Was it June? I think there was something like almost 13 million people out there.
Well, that's more than 5 million.
Yeah. Now there was there was another protest that was around 5 or 6 million. But I think that was like March or May, somewhere in there. So all this to say that the one coming up on the 18th is expected to be bigger nationwide. So yeah, if you're in Montgomery, well, we'll just list all these across the state. 12 taking place. If you're outside the Montgomery area, well, okay, let me name the Montgomery part first. In Montgomery, you meet at Riverfront Park, located at 355 Commerce Street, from 9 a.m. till noon. And they're going to march to the downtown fountain, rally, and then return to Riverfront Park. And it meets ADA standards, and the route is mainly flat ground. There's also going to be an ASL interpretation available. And also across the state, we got Athens, North Jefferson Street, Market West Street, 1101. Huntsville says this event is private and requires an RSVP. I don't think that's the case. I think you can find it. But it's going to be held from 9 till 11. And I'm pretty sure it's at Big Spring Park. Maybe I'm tripping. If it's not at Big Spring Park, it's at Butler Green. But I can't remember off the top of my head. And typically some people get freaked out about putting their name on email list. Well, you can create a new email, like you can do some compartmentalization security stuff if you're worried about things like that, or you know what I'm saying? So
sure,
if you want to mitigate that issue, you can mitigate that issue. But the purpose of the emails for folks is we have to have avenues of communication. That's so much the part of organizing is having lines of communication and developing those lines of communication, which we're still developing. Like, we're still trying to get deeper ties with union folks, but some of them are real hard to get on the phone. You know what I'm saying? So Anyway, moving on. We got Gunnersville at the Marshall County Courthouse, 10 to noon. Oxford Exchange, 11 to 2. Birmingham, the Railroad Park Foundation, 10 to noon. Tuscaloosa says no address provided, but it's planned from 10 to noon. I think smart people can figure out where it is too. Dadeville, Tallapoosa County Courthouse, noon to 2. Phoenix City, 900 Broadway, Columbus, Georgia, 9 to 11. I guess they're right on the border. Phoenix City is, so and you gotta love it, man. folks from Alabama working with folks over in Georgia. Things we got to do. We got Dothan, 114 North Oak Street, 10 to 2. And then Mobile, Government Plaza, 205 Government Street, 4 to 5:30. And then down in Fairhope, US 98 and Fairhope Avenue, 9:30 to noon. And I bet, this is from Jennifer Lindahl, you can find, oh, she's on X, the Everything app. Oh, why did I just say that? But there might even, yeah, there might even be some more that pop up. But yeah, it's the 5th now. There might be 1 or 2 more cities that get something planned. But yeah. And I think we had about 16 cities last time, which, a little lower now, but it's not nothing. And, life happens to organizers and in those areas, and they can't get it all together sometimes. And that's okay, because there's another day to fight. So yeah, No Kings. Check it out. But where you got anything to add on that before we move to something else?
No, I don't.
Okay, so where do you want to start, brother?
That's a good question. So I had a couple of pieces about some stuff that's come out about Alabama's prisons. And maybe I'll start with that. The Counterpunch article, if you have it.
I have it. Where is it?
I'll post it in the private chat.
I didn't see the Counterpunch.
I may not have posted
All
it.
right.
It's all good.
I got you, though. Counterpunch. Here we go.
So there's a new book that's come out called Bullock, Chronicles of Deprivation and Despair in an American Prison. And it's obviously based in the Bullock prison here in Alabama. And this is the foreword to that book that's been published in Counterpunch. And there are some statistics that it shares that are worth going over about about the racial disparities in Alabama's justice system. So, I mean, starting with the state's elected leaders and courthouses to its overpopulated jails and prisons, Black Alabamians were over 4 times as likely as white Alabamians to be arrested for marijuana possession, even though the two groups use marijuana at roughly the same rate. In 7 Alabama jurisdictions, the arrest disparity was more than 10 to 1. Alabama's population is a little over a quarter Black, but more than half the people in our jails and prisons are Black. In May 2025, Black Alabamians comprised 54% of the state's prison population, and the racial disparity continues in the state's parole statistics. Between January 1st, 2021 and July 31st, 2021, the Alabama Board of Pardons and Paroles denied parole for 77% of parole-eligible white applicants, but denied parole for 90% of Black applicants. So the article continues, perhaps a little surprised that given those stark racial disparities, things are much the same among the state's decision makers. No Black person holds an elected statewide office in Alabama. White judges account for 154 of 192 elected circuit and district judges statewide, or 80%, despite whites making up 61% of the state's population. Of the 38 Black judges statewide, 22 are in Jefferson County, leaving just 16 Black judges across the remaining 61 counties. Anyway, all judges on the Alabama Supreme Court, the Court of Alabama Criminal Appeals, the Court of Civil Appeals, and the Director of the Alabama Office of Courts are white. Just 3 of Alabama's 41 judicial circuits are served by Black district attorneys, and 55 of 67 Alabama's sheriffs are white. All judges on the Alabama Supreme Court, the Court of Criminal Appeals, the Court of Civil Appeals, and the Director of Alabama Office of Courts are white. The result is that, like other U.S. states, Black people are disproportionately likely to be incarcerated in Alabama. While black people make up 26% of Alabama's resident population, black Alabamians constitute just over twice that proportion, 53%, of those incarcerated in its prisons. If this discrepancy appears less stark than that of many other U.S. states, this must be seen as a perverse result of the fact that Alabama, like many other southern states, incarcerates a significantly higher proportion of its population. So according to the Prison Policy Initiative, almost 1% of Alabama's population are held in some kind of incarceration, be it jail or prison. So, yeah.
1% of the population?
Yes. Of Alabama's population, which is significantly higher than most other states.
Yeah. I'm honestly surprised it's that low.
Yeah,
You
me
know.
too, honestly. But this is Matthew Vernon Whalen's book, Bullock, Chronicles of Deprivation and Despair in an American Prison. I would advise you or encourage you to check it out. I haven't read it yet myself, but it looks, I mean, just judging by the forward, it looks like it's going to be a good book. It talks about, you know, the plight of Alabama's prisoners is always near and dear to my heart. It's one of my high priority issues. And I agree with, was it Dostoevsky who said that you can judge a society by the way it treats its prisoners?
Right. And, you know, there.
Or was that Tolstoy? It sounds more like Tolstoy, something Tolstoy would say.
It's one of those Russians.
Hang on a second, I'll look it up.
But this website, Left Wing Books, and also a little splash page came up about the Canadian postal worker strike that's going on up there. So shout out all postal workers, and shout out our Canadian brothers, sisters, and others up there going on strike.
Fair play. So
and,
further on, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say, we've got some other articles related to this.
Yeah, there is a movie coming out this Friday. It's going to be on in theaters and on HBO Max called The Alabama Solution. So it is a documentary about Alabama's prisons. It includes a lot of footage that was filmed on smuggled-in cell phones by prisoners themselves, including people who have been working on the Alabama prison system for quite some time. And I'm talking about people like Raoul Poole, Robert Earl Council, who's also known as Kinetic Justice, and Melvin Ray. So they were part of the Free Alabama movement and probably still are if the Free Alabama movement is still ongoing. They've organized.
I think they are.
Yeah, like they've done all kinds of incredible work organizing work stoppages in prisons to disrupt the prison labor system and trying to coordinate outside protests in prisons. I participated in a couple of those myself. I've sort of lost touch with that group, but
yeah. Well, and at one point they took all the organizers that were incarcerated and busted them all up and moved them all, separated them all throughout the system, if I recall correctly.
I think that's right. And like Kinetic Justice has spent quite a lot of time in solitary confinement. So these are men who are doing extremely good work in Alabama's prisons, trying to get the word out about what the system is like, with the crowding, with the violence, with both prisoner on prisoner and guard on prisoner violence.
Well,
grossly understaffed, brutal violence, drug addiction, the filth that is inside of the prisons. I mean, feces smeared on the walls, blood smeared on the walls and floors, and decades of laboring with no pay.
do we want to try to watch this trailer right here?
Dare we? Let's try it.
All right.
grieving, but I want to tell you that your son was murdered. They sweep stuff underneath the rug all the time.
If you're an inmate in Alabama prison, you're probably praying every night that nothing bad happens to you. It's dangerous and volatile. It could explode at any moment.
I mean, it's corrupt. That's all you can say.
We're finished. What are we finished with? Tell me. Why?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Police in here.
Oh, okay.
Don't talk.
We have record numbers of people leaving out of here in body bags. They don't want the public to see what's really going on the inside.
How can a journalist go into a war zone but can't go into a prison in the United States of America? The state is settling one lawsuit after another. There's no consequences for their actions.
It's not the inmate that's killing them folks. It's the guards.
There's an argument that there is some systemic problem within all of our facilities, and I wholeheartedly disagree with that.
Marshall, how can you defend this?
That one guard, he knew something. I could tell he was a liar.
We are going to pursue it based on the fact.
It's spun up. What is your problem? Ugh.
It still made it look compelling. So I'm looking forward to watching that this coming Friday. I mean, it's serious subject matter, but I'm looking forward to getting educated about a little bit more about the conditions of Alabama prisons, and hopefully we can work to do something about that.
Absolutely. And where is that? Where's that? There it is. And on the related note, Alabama state prison population could rise by a third by 2030, which is, prison systems already, and this is the state system, not to account folks in city jails or in county jails, but they're expected it to grow from 21,753 to 24 to 28,000 inmates. And I tend to believe that that's going to happen.
Right. Well, it's the same policies that are in place, and they keep adding more and more punitive measures, and they keep locking more and more people up. And so, what do you think is going to happen? It's the overcrowding situation has been there for decades. As the article says, it's been a major contributor to violence in correctional facilities. The DOJ sued the state in 2020. Obama's Justice Department was prepared to basically invade Alabama and shut down and take control of its prison system. But the election of Donald Trump in 2016 and the appointment of Jeff Sessions to be Attorney General put the kibosh on that.
Yeah. And it's a joke. They don't want to address the fundamental issue of why folks might be breaking laws or maybe getting hemmed up unnecessarily or unconstitutionally, or getting framed up, because that shit happens. But the population was down all the way down to 18,000 people in 2021, right? And now it's 5 years later, and we're back up, to 21,000. But they don't want to really address the real issues, like people needing health coverage, because I bet you a lot of folks in jail, it stemmed from some mental health issue, or maybe housing issues, because like 50% of the folks up in the jail in Huntsville are unhoused folks, or, people not being able to have a living wage. So they turn to other markets of their labor to make ends meet, So
Right.
their answer is to build more prisons, to at least $2 billion in prisons, instead of investing $2 billion in people, in education or housing or a number of things that fundamentally correct what's going on,
Right. Having a better drug policy that focuses on medical treatment instead of locking people away.
So, yeah, they run algorithms and simulations of various types, and they, to highlight the what you said about the change in policies and laws and stuff. The legislature in 2023 reduced the amount of credit people in prison could receive on their prison sentences for good behavior. Prior to passing the law, people classified in the second tier could receive up to 40 days of credit for every 30 days served. And SB1, sponsored by April Weaver, Republican out of Briarfield, reduced it to 15 days for every 30 days served. So it went from 40 down to 15, on top of, the parole rate supposed to be mandated at 80%, and it's been down to 7%. And I think it's jumped up to 13% or something like that. But all these factors, all these, things converging together for no other reason, not to really care about people and to help people and whatever. It's to, put a whole lot of money in corporations' pockets.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's your extra special glimpse into Alabama prisons for the night. It's a depressing subject. There's an execution scheduled for this month. I believe the man's name is Anthony Boyd. Yeah, it is. And he is set to be executed on October 23rd, so later this month. And they're going to use this nitrogen gas system that has been shown to well, I don't want to throw words around like torture, but people have reacted badly while receiving the, we don't want to call it a treatment. It's not a treatment. It's not treating a disease.
You can't get much more cruel and unusual than a punishment of death,
Right. So what's complicating the situation for Mr. Boyd is that he has asthma, and like the state's protocol is heavily redacted, so a medical professional can't look at it and say, hey, here's how his asthma might interact with the nitrogen gas. So it's possible that the inmate's brain could be damaged, among other injuries, but leave him alive. So in each of the 5 nitrogen executions of Kenneth Smith, Alan Miller, Kerry Dale Grayson, Demetrius Terrence Frazier, and Gregory Hunt, each prisoner previously executed by the state's protocol showed signs of conscious suffocation, terror, and pain.
You know what are we averaging one a month? It feels like.
I believe that this year, I remember reading somewhere that Kay Ivey has scheduled more executions than any other state.
Yeah, I know that's a fact.
So,
Hey. Alabama leading in something.
leading in something.
Yeah.
And
It's
Steve
something,
Marshall
all
is
right.
talking about, yeah. Steve Marshall's talking about expanding the death penalty to include cases of child abuse for children under 12, specifically SA. And there are problems with that, of course.
Yeah, it's absolutely deplorable crime. But you know, once again, it's morally backwards for the state to just, murder people. And there's, pushback on this.
I think the
Where-
strongest argument that it mentions, the article mentions, is that most cases of SA of a child happen within families and
Right.
or close family friends, and so they're less likely to report the crimes because they don't want to see somebody get executed and be responsible for their death.
They actually, point out that there would be incentive now to kill the child victims to eliminate the sole witnesses, advocates noted, and children be re-traumatized by the intense experience of participating in a capital trial and all the appeals, which would delay their ability to heal from the experience.
Which, given the number of appeals you have to give somebody before you execute them, I mean, it would continue well into their adulthood where they'll keep having to deal with this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's one of those things that make people pump their fist in the air and say, yeah, they're getting what they deserve. But when you look at the actual effects of it, it's going to lead to less justice and not more.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that I just firmly believe that the state should not be in the business of executing its citizens.
No.
How's that for anti-authoritarianism?
Exactly. So, maybe we got a couple more minutes and we'll talk about ICE.
Sure.
So there's a few things going on. There's, and this man can't be the only one, but a U.S. citizen is arrested twice by ICE who claimed his driver's license was faked. This is Leonardo Garcia Venegas, who's been detained by ICE a couple times, lives in Baldwin County, and has been arrested twice. That you got a statement from Department of Homeland Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said allegations that DHS law enforcement officers engage in racial profiling are disgusting, reckless, and categorically false. What makes someone a target for immigration enforcement is if they are illegally in the U.S. And it's been shown that about 85% of the people targeted by ICE aren't here illegally, or they might have a traffic ticket or something like that. But raid occurred in Foley at a subdivision that he was working at May 21st. Said 5 men in camouflage jumped over a property fence and ran past a no trespassing sign, according to the suit. The agents had no warrant, and they ran past white and black workers and chased the Latino workers. And also the Supreme Court just said they can do all that. Venegas saw agents assault his brother who worked there, pulled out a cell phone to record, and an officer approached and tackled him to the ground, told him to show me my show his papers that he was a citizen. And another officer ran over and helped tackle him. He showed his ID, and they said it was fake. They detained him until they ran his social security number. And then in Fairhope on June 12th, he was working alone at working construction on a house. He again showed him ID. It said it was not enough to overcome the generalized profile that DHS policy creates for people who share Leo's demographics and occupation, which was followed by the Institute for Justice, a libertarian civil rights law firm. Woo! Shout out libertarians. All right. As of June, approximately 2,000 people have been sent to deportation proceedings in Alabama, roughly doubling the 2024 rate. And, many people have no criminal records, and a increasing number have no prior record. Like I said, that's at least 70% with no record at all. Because overwhelmingly, immigrant folks commit crimes less than citizen folks. But he's born in Florida. His parents are living in Mexico now. And yeah. So, and and I saw this in the news. These folks, I saw it described in the news as the "Show Me Your Papers" bill.
Right.
Which is bill. It sparks debate over deportation and racial profiling. We talked about this earlier this year. We've talked about this multiple times. It says this has a few components. One's deal with what police do when they lawfully pull you over. If you don't have documentation like a driver's license or passport proving you're in the country legally, you're now required to call immigration and ICE. So that's, like broken tail light, you get pulled over, they call your paperwork fake and then call ICE, right? How much is that going to happen? A whole lot, because it's happening now. But like I said, the Supreme Court made a ruling a few weeks ago that allow ICE agents in Los Angeles to stop individuals because of their perceived race, the language they're speaking, or even their location. Even their location. But yeah, it creates a domino effect of deportation coupled with that ruling. Even though it doesn't have precedential value, it does inform ICE officers are going to conduct their stops. Now police officers will conduct their stops, and coupled together to make discrimination kind of the course for the day. And also make a felony to illegally transport an illegal immigrant into Alabama, with some exceptions, which will be punishable by up to 10 years in prison. And we talked earlier this year about this lady here, a social worker and activist, and all around good citizen, right? But she self-deported to Mexico, and she says, "I'm grieving a life I've lived since I was 7." This is Giovanna Martinez, who got hemmed up on August 4th of this year. But she ended up in that Louisiana Immigration Center, and she says, "For now, I want to extend my deepest heartfelt gratitude to everyone who prayed for me, supported my family, and did everything possible to advocate for me. I was aware of the magnitude of the support from day one. I will never, ever be able to thank you all enough." She is detained at a traffic stop in Leeds saying she was driving erratically at over 80 miles an hour. Okay, sure, buddy. They notified federal partners who informed the detectives that the female was in the United States of America illegally. But she says now, I'm safe, free, thankful, and blessed. She's with family in Mexico City. She's processing things and struggling to accept that I've left behind my family, my rock, my friends, loved ones, my community, and she's grieving her life that she had to leave. But she earned her bachelor's and master's in social work from JSU, Jacksonville State University. She focused on helping immigrant students in the metro area plan steps after high school. She ran a program called Escalera, where she stressed the importance of a degree and helped students navigate college and trade school. A force multiplier, for the working class. So yeah. And her brother and family is working on finding a legal way for her to re-enter the U.S. So we'll be keeping up with this and keeping our eyes peeled. We've got folks that know her and know her family and stuff, so we'll keep y'all informed. And yeah. But I saw today some video up in Chicago where ICE they try to scoop up this dude, and guess what? The people around made it really hard for ICE to do their job, and ICE left. So resistance is not futile, and this is all this stuff they're doing is a real sign of weakness. So take heart and stick together, everybody out there. Did you want to hit up anything else?
I think that's a good stopping point. I mean, we've been on for 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, the first part of the show went slower than expected. One more little thing right here, and we're gonna peace out, y'all. But the FBI severed ties with the Alabama Civil Rights Group it claims turned into partisan smear hate machine. Of course, we're talking about the Southern Poverty Law Center, and it's tracking with the hate map and of hate groups and hate crimes and all that. And, got Cash Patel. They broke ties with the Anti-Defamation League as well, which is also funny. But the SPLC had Turning Points USA as a hate group. And yeah, good work, Cash Patel. Which it's funny. This fella right here think that the Nazis won't come after him. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. He thinks he's one of them and that he belongs. And oh boy, is he in for a shock when things get real?
Yeah, exactly. But I think what you reading right now?
Well, so I started this book by that was recommended to us by one of our listeners.
Yeah, You Don't Like My Music. Our Canadian, our international comrade scumbag.
Yeah, International Comrade Scumbag. So the book is called The History of the Ancient World from the Earliest Accounts to the Fall of Rome by Susan Wise Bauer. I started reading it. It's pretty good so far. It's definitely
Okay.
it's a pretty dense read, but I've been enjoying it. I like classical history. It's a good I don't know, it's as close as I get to escapism. I don't have like sports or anything that I watch, so and I don't really
All
read
right.
fiction anymore.
Yeah. Speaking of sports, I don't know about you, but I don't know if I'm gonna be watching the Super Bowl this year. It it if what's well, and I'm kind of bent. I'm kind of like I want to watch it because Bad Bunny's there, but I don't want to watch it because Ice is gonna be there. So maybe I'm thinking wrong on this. Am I supposed to watch it or? But Ice has said they're gonna show up at they're gonna be all around up at the Super Bowl.
Wow.
So how fun is that?
Yeah, that's fun. I was gonna try to at least check it out because Bad Bunny had made Trump mad, so I was like, well, okay, we'll see what's going on there.
I do like the back-to-back Kendrick Lamar and then Bad Bunny. Somebody up in the NFL knows what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Our
let's just
friend Jolly Green says only watch the halftime show for solidarity.
There
That
you
might
go.
be the thing to do.
Yeah.
But
And Drake, man, just it's hard. You almost feel bad for him. You almost feel bad for him. Just the way he just got nuked from orbit.
yeah, that's hey, don't be an asshole.
I know that's right. Yep.
I'm watching Slow Horses, and I found some. It's a British spy show. I
Yeah,
really like it.
I read the very first book a few years ago after a coworker
Okay.
recommended it.
Okay, yeah.
It's very interesting, and it would be like the things that the boss guy says to his underlings, like they would just destroy me if they were said to me. Like the main character Jackson Lamb, like
Yeah, dude.
he's just
He's
brutal.
Yes. I love it. Yeah, it's a good little show. I recommend that. And there's a lot of there's so many movies I saw that I want to watch, but I'm like always caught up, so I don't even have enough sit down time to concentrate on a movie. I'm halfway through Operation Mincemeat, which is based on a World War II operation that actually occurred.
The book or the movie?
So it's a movie
on Netflix.
that I'm halfway through. Yeah, I think it's on Netflix.
I saw that. I watched that a few years ago. It's also pretty good.
I'm enjoying it.
About the dead guy that they drummed up. It's a really good story.
Yeah. It was operation to sit there and plant false invasion to seed false invasion plan into Greece versus Sicily during World War II. So check it out, Operation Mincemeat.
Operation Mincemeat. It's a good movie.
Such a good name too for that. Like using a dead dude and calling it mincemeat. Yeah, that sounds about right.
They wouldn't do that today because it's too close to what the operation's actually about. But
right.
But still, it is funny. Operation Mincemeat.
Yeah. Well, J Money, Red Mike, Bricks. You got anything else?
No, I'm ready to hit the bricks myself.
Yeah, dog. I'm ready for bedtime. All y'all out there, take your drugs and take care of yourself. Do all the self-care you need so you stay in the fight for the long term. You hear? And, you know, as we like to say around here, all the power to all the people. We the people break our chains together. Solidarity forever, y'all.
Solidarity forever.